In this video we will look at the very cool maxsprict Miau's Polyline, which allows you to draw spline lines precisely with measurements and also with angles. After buying it from Miau's Polyline internet page, you first of all have to take the maxsprict. You just drag and drop it into your viewport, and then you go onto install. And after you installed it, you just have to go into customize user interface, and there are not different ways of doing it. You, for example, go just into toolbars, and under categories you just choose Miau's Polyline, and then you can just drag and drop it, for example, into your access constraints menu, for example, like this. Or you just go into new and just say it's Miau or Polyline, somewhere like this, and then you already have a new toolbar, and just drag and drop it here, and then you also have created a new toolbar for your Polyline tool. Okay, just right mouse click, I just delete the button, I just only need one. And always when you open 3D Studio Max in the future, you will see your Polyline tool. Right mouse click, you can switch it on, and you can actually switch it on. What you have to look at, you always have to look at your units. So it's really important here that your display units and your system units are actually the same, so both are now in centimeters, and this is really important, otherwise you can't work properly. Okay, let's have a look at the tool. And you don't start the polylines with create shapes anymore. You just go into this polyline button, and the toolbar you can just put wherever you want to put the toolbar. And the first thing is we have a look at the settings. And you can change between absolute coordinates and relative coordinates, and we just start our first line with the first setting, which is the ortho mode. So I just draw a vertex point, and you can see that that I can draw the next point in the x direction and also in the y direction. And if I now go up and enter, for example, like 100 centimeters in this command line, then I do my first line in y direction. And if I go into the x direction and enter, for example, like 200 centimeters here, then you can see that I draw a line of 200 centimeters in x direction. And there's also something like this dynamic mode, which is quite nice, because if you switch this one on, then you constantly have a small field where you can enter your values directly next to your mouse. And I just enter now like again 50 centimeters. Now it's 50 centimeters in y direction. I enter 100 centimeters in x direction. Again 200 centimeters in y direction. Minus or again this direction 100 centimeters. And like normal, you can just close the line with right mouse click, and you can decide between finish spline just at this point, or just say close spline. I just go into close spline, and then my spline line is closed. You should use the relative coordinates if you know the location of the point in relation to the previous point, which we did beforehand. And if you should use the absolute coordinate mode if you know the position in relation to x and y of your origin. So normally I just work with relative coordinates. I can close this settings, so I have a little bit more space in my report, and we just look at the other settings. The next interesting setting is the polar mode, and what happens right now is that you again can enter the the X and the Y direction, but you can change the angle in relation to the value which you can enter here in this field in terms of the polar mode. So we can just see that it just now steps in 5-degree angles, and if I just enter something like 30 degrees, then you can just see that it steps in 30 degrees, which is really handy. The next mode we look at is the freehand mode, which is also really handy. What it does is you can put your mouse wherever you want to have at the next point, and then you can just enter the value, for example, like 50 centimeters, and it just goes exactly into the direction of your mouse, and for example like 60 centimeters again. Or what you can also do is, if you just enter the snap mode, snap vertex, you can just snap any vertex point. By the way, it also snaps the grid, but you can choose vertex points, for example like this, and if I just enter a value like 80, then you can just see that it moved exactly into the direction of your point, but you can define the length. The last mode we look at is the arc mode. For this you first have to start with a line, and if I now change to the arc mode, then you can just see that you can draw an arc, and you can choose and enter something like a dimension in terms of the arc. And if you hold the, so for example I have to select it again, if you hold your shift key, then you can just see that you can change the direction of the arc, which is also again really handy. By the way, while drawing you can also change between the modes. The O is for the ortho mode, the P is for the polar mode, the F is for the free mode, and actually the A is for the arc mode. You can also enter X and Y direction. If I just select the toolbar, and I just want to move 20 centimeters in X direction and 30 centimeters in Y direction, then you just have to separate it with a comma. And then you can see that I draw a line with 20 by 30. I just do it again with 100. So I have to select my my toolbar again. I just enter a 100 centimeters in X direction and minus 200 centimeters in Y direction, and this works really well. And if you want to, for example, have it in 10.5 centimeters in X direction, then enter 10.5, and for example like 15.5 in Y direction, then you just use it with a point. And if you want to delete the last point, then you just have to hold the Alt key and press the left mouse, and then you just deleted the last point. So that's a good way of deleting your vertex points. Very few more things I would like to show you. For example, if you draw a line and you hold the shift key, then you are just in ortho mode, and if you hold the string key, then you are in polar mode. And obviously in polar mode you can also just change the values. For example, I now have 5 degrees, and if I press the string key again, then I draw lines with 5 degrees. Another thing I would like to show you, which is actually quite nice, if you just enter a point, just draw a line in X direction, and now you want to have a length of 50 centimeters, but also with an angle of 45 degrees, then you just use the tab key, and on top enter 45 degrees, and then you have a line with a length of 50 centimeters and 45 degrees. I just do it again. I want to have a line with 200 centimeters. I use the tab key and just enter minus 45 degrees, and then you have a line of 200 centimeters with minus 45 degrees. This was a really short introduction of Miaou's Polyline tool. There's still a lot of things to discover and a lot of special features, and you just should check it out on the video of on the page of Miaou's Polyline tool. Thanks for watching.